Good morning, folks. Welcome to this episode of EC3 Really Cooks. I'm Roger Ramsey, one of the chef instructors here at the Hardin Schools Early College and Career Center, and this is my friend
Bobby Thompson. I'm a co-teacher here at the Early College and Career Center.
Today's menu is going to be shrimp three ways. It's June. Shrimp are plentiful. They're fairly cheap. We're going to do 3 courses. We're going to make a boil. We're going to call it Mr. Bobby's boil. He's going to work through it with some potatoes, corn, sausage, and of course some shrimp. We're going to do an old standard for, if you remember, Jack Fry's restaurant. Sean Ward, when he was executive chef there, made a shrimp and grits with red-eye gravy. Hey chef, hope all is well. And then we're also going to do an appetizer course, and it's going to be New Orleans style barbecue shrimp. Now, it's not the kind of barbecue you think of. We'll show you here shortly. So hang out with us. Hope we inspire you to do something. If you have any questions, email's going to be attached to the end. If you need any catering, we are self-sustaining through our catering program. Email's attached to the end. So let's see what we can get done. Let me get started. I'm going to get my grits started. Mr. Bobby's going to get his boil started. He's got a bunch of water rolling to a boil. He's going to put some seasoning in there. We happen to be using Old Bays. You don't necessarily have to use Old Bay. You can use Anarans. You can use Tony Chachere's. You can use McCormick, but you have to season your water. A lot of salt and pepper, red pepper, paprika, bay leaves, thyme. Wonderful product. So he's going to get his water rolling, and everything that he goes in, he's just working backwards in time. Whatever takes the longest to cook's going in first. But first he's going to get it seasoned up, and first I'm going to get grits started.
So we will start with Old Bay seasoning, about a cup worth. There's 6 quarts of water that are boiling. We're also going to add salt, some whole peppercorns, about 3 bay leaves. And we've taken a couple of onions and quartered those out, and those will go in as well. We will bring the pot back to a boil. Let all of those seasonings get into the water, get spread around evenly. And as Chef Ramsey said, we start from the back with the longest cooking time. That'll be our potatoes. After about 7 or 8 minutes, then we'll go to onions and sausage. Cook that for about 5 minutes. Then we'll get to our corn. We'll put that in. It takes about 5 minutes or so. And last, we do our shrimp. And those only take a couple of minutes to get finished.
While Mr. Bobby was talking, y'all were paying more attention to him. I've started the grits. Folks that don't know, grits is actually a corn product. Corn kernels are taken and dried. Then they're soaked in lime water. It causes them the skin to break off. They swell back up when they rehydrate, and you have the white inner part of the corn. That's called hominy. From the hominy, you dry it again, you grind it, and that's how you get grits. That's an awful lot of work for such a simple product. If it's done well, folks say, I don't be liking no grits. They haven't had them done right. Generally, they're either going to be overcooked and mushy, or they're going to be undercooked and gritty. And you have to flavor grits with something. Most recipes and the package itself is going to tell you to use water to cook grits. I'm going to say don't. Use milk. Milk brings more flavor, brings fat. If you're lactose intolerant, I guess you're going to have to use water again. But you have to add some kind of flavor to it. The grit in itself, it's not so bueno, but when you start adding things to it, it's a wonderful product. So in the pot, what I've got is 2 cups of water, about half a cup of heavy cream, and about a tablespoon of butter, because we need more fat. And then there's about 2 teaspoons, maybe 2.5 teaspoons of salt, about half a teaspoon of black pepper. Once it comes to a boil, then you add your grits. And you want to stir them in.
While he's getting that done, we're going to start with small red potatoes. Advice to you, as you pour them away. This water is really, really hot. You do not want to have it splash up on you. We're going to let those cook for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll add some more.
The grits are on low heat now. Cover them. There's only half a cup of grits in there for 2 cups of liquid. That's pretty much the standard recipe, 4 parts liquid to 1 part grit. While that's working, I'm gonna start our red eye gravy. Red eye gravy classically is a product made when you fry country ham, and you would take a small amount of coffee to lift the fond up off the bottom of that pan. Then you loosen it up a little bit, give it a little more flavor, some chicken stock, maybe some milk. Ours is a little more complicated than that. But classically, because we want it classic, we are gonna have our country ham. That's about 3 ounces of small diced country ham. You can buy that product already broken down for you. It's pretty handy. And it's fairly cheap. And we're gonna fry that country ham in a couple tablespoons of butter. A note on nutrition. We cook restaurant style in here. This isn't stuff you wanna eat every day. We use a lot of fat. We wanna prepare our kids to get out into the industry, to go to work in restaurants. There's a difference in how you cook at the house and how we cook it here, because we have to cook in here the way they cook out there. Monitor your fat intake. I'm not saying anybody needs to eat country ham cooked in butter a couple of times a week. So what we want to do is brown that country ham for just a minute. We've got a julienne of onion and a bell pepper. This has to be red bell pepper because, well, it's pretty. Gonna break them apart just a minute. Now we're gonna add some mushrooms. Ideally, the recipe, we're gonna attach recipes to these shows. Ideally, you would use shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake aren't always easy to find. They're a bit price prohibitive sometimes. So these are just little bella mushrooms. They don't have quite the same texture, but they still give you that sense of umami, and they still give you that mushroom taste. It's gonna take just a couple minutes, sauteing the vegetables and the ham down, and then we'll move right along. Well, now that our vegetables are softened up substantially, we're going to add a bit of thyme, and that could have been bad. How much? Add about a cup of chicken broth. This is some chicken stock we made in-house, still on the frozen side. Got what I needed out of it. But again, there are 2 components to red eye gravy. The country ham is one, black coffee's the other.
We've now reached the potatoes have been approximately 8 minutes. So we're gonna add onions and sausage again, pour it away from you so the water doesn't splash on you. We'll let that go for about 5 or 6 more minutes, and then we'll add our next ingredient.
Ladies and gentlemen, while y'all weren't looking, I had just a touch of heavy cream to our gravy because, again, we need a little more fat. This is nothing more than a slurry. It's equal parts cornstarch and water. What it will do is, as it boils, those starch granules will swell, suck the liquid into them, and thicken our gravy again. So once it comes to a boil, much like that, we can shut the heat off, set it on the back of the range, and let it ride for just a minute. We've got our grits, we've got our gravy. I guess we need some shrimp now. So the shrimp's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We need to get our pan hot. Remember, if you're gonna fry something, always start with a hot pan. You put food, oil into a cold pan and put food on top, it's going to stick. You put oil into a cold pan and put food into it, it's going to be greasy. You heat your pan first, opens the pores of the metal. It'll accept whatever your lubricant is. We're using a little melted butter, and less likely your food's going to be sticking. Hear that sound? You want to hear that sound? Yeah. We've got about a pound of 21, 25 count shrimp. It's about a pound of 21, 25 count shrimp. And when they say that it's a certain number for a count, what it actually means is it takes that many of that size shrimp to make a pound. So that's a pound of 21, 25 count. So you can pretty much guess with fairly solid results, there's about 21 or 25 pieces in there. So the smaller the number, the bigger the piece. And always season as you go. With salt and pepper, nothing more. There you are, sir.
To wrap that up, we're now ready to add our corn. That'll take about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll add our shrimp there at the end.
While our shrimp's finishing up, we're going to go back to our gravy for just a minute. I'm going to add just a little bit of tomato. The tomato, how you cut it is up to you. The recipe calls for what's called concassé, which means it's peeled, seeded, and chopped. This is not concassé. This is nothing more than cut in a julienne, just like the onions and the carrots were. So I'm going to leave you with Mr. Bobby for a minute. Go grab some plates so we can start setting some food out.
Again, what we've done, we've had, for this country boil, bring the water to a boil. The first thing we added was Old Bay seasoning. We added salt, whole peppercorns, and some bay leaves. A reminder, bay leaves are not good to eat, so when you go through at the end and you dump out your country boil and you get a leaf, do not take that as a prize. That is not something that you want to eat. We then added the potatoes, let it come to a boil, let it go for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we added the sausage and the onions. Again, it went for another 5 or 6 minutes. We've now added in the corn, and that'll go for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll add in the shrimp. And the shrimp are really quick. They only take 2 or 3 minutes total. And at that point, we will pull it out, we'll drain it, and then we will pour it onto paper. You can use newspaper if you're at home. Here we have some paper, and then we serve it with some clarified butter, some cocktail sauce, which cocktail sauce you can buy in the store or you can make. Cocktail sauce is very easy to make. You add ketchup, some prepared horseradish, a little bit of lemon juice, and some Worcestershire sauce, and mix it together. And you can adjust. If you want it spicier, add more horseradish. If you want it a little duller, add less horseradish. So there are ways that you can make your own cocktail sauce at home. And personally, that's what we do, and I like it a lot better because I can control exactly how the taste is going to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, our shrimp and grits are done. Let's go ahead and plate those up real quick. So, we'll use these nice little ramekins because they're pretty. A bit of red eye gravy. Our sauteed shrimp. And then we'll finish it with just a touch of Parmesan cheese. And there you are, our knockoff on jack fried shrimp and grits.
Nancy fixes that up. We're ready to put the shrimp into the boil. Again, it does not have to return to a boil because the shrimp only take 2 or 3 minutes to cook. It won't take very long at all. Our shrimp has come up to temp. All you want it to do is become pink. Then we will drain it out. And again, just put it on paper. At home, you can, that can be newspaper. You can have the paper that we use here at the school. A warning to you, the sausage and the potatoes both retain a lot of the water. So they are incredibly hot when they first come out, and when you bite into it, a lot of hot water will come out. Again, a reminder, the bay leaves are not a prize. Do not eat the bay leaves. If you get a relief in your plate. Upon completing that, take a little bit more of your base seasoning and you're just going to dust it. And you have your clarified butter, you have cocktail sauce, and a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce. And there is a country boil.
Ladies and gentlemen, we said we were going to make 3 dishes. We've got our shrimp and grits with red eye gravy. Thank you, Sean Ward. Love that recipe. We've got Mr. Bobby done put together a shrimp boil. We've got one more to go, and that is the New Orleans style barbecue shrimp. Again, this ain't barbecue like we know, getting up the charcoal grill or fired up the smoker, but it mimics a lot of flavors. It's quick and easy. It's generally an appetizer. What makes it easy is everybody goes in the pool at once. So, what we've got here is a lemon that has been squeezed, and after it was squeezed, the peels were cut into rings. So, now how are you going to squeeze a lemon if you don't have a lemon squeezer? Simple, you squeeze it. Another way, get you a pair of kitchen tongs and squeeze it. So, you don't necessarily have to have a unitasker tool to squeeze lemons. What else we're going in there? We've got, that's half a pound of butter, folks. Half a pound of butter. Remember, this ain't how you want to eat every day. We've got a little Worcestershire sauce. We've got some bay leaves. Don't eat the bay leaves. Mr. Bobby just told y'all about that. A little chopped garlic. Black and red pepper. Salt, because you got to make it taste good. And paprika. Give it a stir. Now, we've got 1 pound of 21, 25 count shrimp again. All right, give them about 4 or 5 minutes on heat. After those 4 or 5 minutes are up, shut your heat off and let them steep, like making tea, for about 10 minutes. That'll finish them cooking through without overcooking them. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, while you were looking, or maybe you were, we went ahead and plated up our final dish, which would be the first course of a dinner. Anyway, it's our appetizer, and it's New Orleans style barbecue shrimp. Again, there's half a pound of butter with 1 pound of shrimp. So you can see it's fairly rich. So we just simply put it on some toast points. It's some Italian bread we slice and throw it up on the grill, got some marks on it, and dressed it with the butter from the shrimp. We've got our appetizer, we've got our entree for shrimp and grits, we've got enough food down there for several folks at Mr. Bobby's Boil. That's what we're going to call it now, Bobby's Boil. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had fun doing it. We're going to try to do this every month for the next year, and there you go. If you have any questions, email ec3.catering@hardin.kyschools.us. It'll be attached. Menus will be attached. If you need a catering event, give us a call. If you have any questions, give us a call. You want to give us some suggestions on the show, give us a call. I appreciate your time, folks. Mr. Bobby, thank you so much. Appreciate the hand. Let's get this mess cleaned up.